Data types, in the sense it is just a classification of data based on different size as well as a type of information. With respect to class, if we want to define a class, then we can define it something in this way, that is camel's case. The relational operator, here comes all the relational related things, that is lesser than, greater than, lesser than or equal to, greater than or equal to, etc. Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the third session that's under object-oriented programming with Java. We have completed 2 more sessions before this, so I just request you to go back and check those videos too. First unit is all about fundamentals of object-oriented programming. Over here, my name is Deepa Kutnikar. I'm working as an assistant professor on the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. In our previous session, as I did told you, we had discussed few fundamental things of Java programming, like what is Java programming and what is its history, the features of Java programming language. So we had discussed few of the basic things related to Java programming. So if you want to learn regarding those things, then you have to go back and check that video, that is session 2 video. All right, in today's session, again, we will be discussing few more things regarding fundamentals of Java programming. Let's move forward and start our session. As we say fundamentals of Java programming, it completely includes various data types, variables, operators, control statements, and more crucially, the object-oriented concepts like objects and classes and all the stuff. Here, there is a simple figure which exactly shows like how the code works. Initially, we will be writing the code and we will be saving it using a .java extension. Then followed by we will be using a compiler which compiles our information or the program. What's next? Next, the program will be converted into a class. All right. From class, the output will be sent to JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine. What happens in this Java Virtual Machine is the complete program will be converted into byte type of information, and finally that byte type of information is forwarded to the program. So this is a complete life cycle of the Java code. All right, let's move forward and let's understand what are different data types. Data types, in the sense it is just a classification of data based on different size as well as a type of information. So let's understand the data type using this figure. So there are 2 different types when we consider data type. The first one is a primitive type and the next one is a non-primitive type, or we can also call it as a reference data. So let's see under primitive type, what are the different data types that can be considered. Under this primitive type, we have initially the numeric type of data where we can represent them in various forms, like integers we can represent, and then the floating point. Floating point in the sense the decimal values. But let's get back to integer. Under integer itself, we can represent them in multiple formats like byte form, then a short form, then int, as well as long for long integer and short for short integer type values. Then when we move with the floating point, that is with respect to decimal values, that is float, and if my float, that is a decimal value, has to be considered to a more than 4 numbers, then we have to go with a double. Okay, so that's what the double keyword is used for. Similarly, let's see for non-numeric types. Under non-numeric types, we have Boolean as well as the character values, or we can say it has a string values. All right, let's move with a non-primitive type or a reference value. Under this, we can expect various strings, then arrays, followed by objects, etc. So these are the various types of data types that are available under Java programming. All right, let's move forward. Now it's time to understand regarding variables as well as constants. So variables are nothing but container that stores the values in it. All right. Similarly, constants, as the name itself says, whenever we work with few practical programs, then we might need some constant values like gravitational value, etc. Right? So at those cases, these are the values which won't change, correct? So thus these type of values are considered as constants itself. Alright, now let's see how to initialize as well as declare the variables. Let's see an example. Here we have considered a data type that is int, followed by x is a variable which is assigned with a value 10. So this is done. Finally, we are going with declaration where we are defining final int, that is maximum size will be equal to 100. So this is all about variables and constants. Up next, let's see what are keywords as well as various naming conventions. Keywords are nothing but various reserved words in Java, and the naming conventions is all about the rules that we have to follow with respect to defining or declaring various variables as well as constants, etc. So now let's see an example here. With respect to class, if we want to define a class, then we can define it something in this way, that is camel's case. Okay. Then if we want to define a variable name, at those cases what we can do is we can utilize lower case letters. Okay. So you can see the difference. Variable name can be written as camel case. Okay. Followed by the method name. The method name is declared as, you can see here the method, which is the method we have used, that is a verb along with the noun. Okay. So for that the N must be capital and the starting of the letter can be a small or lowercase letter. So let's understand this in a better way using this example, that is naming conventions. So we have considered various naming conventions followed by applications, like where these naming conventions are used, and a simple example for that. So initially we can go with a lower camel case. What does it refers to and where is it used? Yes, it is used to define variables as well as methods. The example you can see here, the starting letter is a lowercase letter, correct? So first followed by name. Then second one, time to first. Second one, time to first load, followed by index number. Okay. Next type, let's have a look. It is a upper camel cases. Where it is used? Yes, it is used to define classes, interfaces, followed by annotations if we have any enum numbers at those cases, and in order to record the things. Thus, in all these cases, upper camel case are utilized. The examples, as we can see, the starting letter will be a uppercase and followed by a lowercase letters. Great. Next one, screaming snake case. So these are special things that are utilized to define or represent the constant values. So we can see here example like interest underscore rate or minimum underscore salary in this way. Next one is a lower dot case. So this lower dot case is used for packages as well as property files. For example, java.net.http followed by java.management.rmi. So in this way, if we want to write anything with respect to dot case, we can utilize them, but specifically to represent various packages. Also, we do have kebab case, which is not at all recommended because we can't expect efficient output at that case, or whenever we get an error at those case, we will be printed or displayed with an error message, correct? That error message is written in which case? Yes, which type of naming convention? It is none other than our kebab case. Alright, let's move forward. Now let's understand what is typecasting. Typecasting is none other than converting the values from one data type to other. So sometimes there might be a requirement like, yes, this data type is sufficient, I have utilized it, but now it has to be updated. So it has to be updated means again I have to go and rewrite complete program. Is it a good way? No, right? So we can directly update it by typecasting. So it is very crucial thing whenever we consider basics. Now let's see what are the types of typecasting that are available, that are none other than implicit as well as explicit typecasting. Let's see where this implicit typecasting is used. It is used for automatic conversions, and with respect to explicit, it is used in the manual conversions. All right, let's see an example for this. Now we have int x, which is allocated with int of 10.5, right? What we can expect here, that is a double. Thus double y equals 5. All right, now let's move forward. Operators. So let's move forward with operators now. As we have completed understanding like what is a variable, then data type, then followed by if we want to change from one data type to another data type, what is the technique which is called, and that is none other than typecasting. How to do typecasting and what are the types of typecasting, all these things we have discussed. Now we are heading with understanding what our operators are. So operators are none other than special symbols that are used to perform some specific operations. So what are those operations? So we have various types of Java operators here. Let's see one by one. What are those? The first one is arithmetic operators. As we know, arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, all are under arithmetic operators. Similarly, if we consider unary operator, then we will be having addition, that is bitwise addition as well as bitwise subtraction, etc. Next one is an assignment operator. As we say assignment operator, the first thing that comes into our mind is none other than a equal sign, correct? Assignment operator includes equal, plus equal, minus equal, then a simple equal, okay? So these are under assignment operators. Next, the relational operator. Here comes all the relational related things, that is lesser than, greater than, lesser than or equal to, greater than or equal to, etc. Followed by the next one is a logical operator, which means all the logical gates like AND gate, OR gate can be calculated. So these gates can be represented by using the symbols. Next one is a ternary operator. Next type is a ternary operator, which is responsible for various condition verifying, or it verifies whether it is a true one or false one or not. Next one is bitwise as well as a shift operators. So it is responsible to represent bitwise operations. Next one is a instance of operator. Example, object, instance of integer, etc. So these are the various types of operators and various special symbols that are grouped under various types of operators. Great. Let's move forward. Now let's understand the control statement. Control statement is not other than a statement that is responsible to control the flow of a program. So we have various types of control statements, wherein the example for that lies in if-else statement. Let's understand this if-else statement in a better way by using this algorithm. As it is a control statement, we will be having some condition for that. So that condition is considered, if my condition is true, then the body of if will be executed, and if this condition is false, then the else part of program will be executed. Finally, what happens? Then it gets back to the last statement or the control statement, or we can also say it will be jumped to the next part of a program which is controlled. So this is a if-else statement operation. Now let's understand the control structure, that is a switch statement under that, which is used for multi-way selection. So let's see a simple algorithm for this. All right, a program will start and we will be writing some conditional expression. And for that conditional expression, we have multiple cases, like multiple conditions. The first condition, if this condition is true, then the first statement will be executed. If it is, the first case is false, then it will move forward and check with next case or next switch statement. And if that case is true, then the second statement will be executed. If not, it will again move forward and it will go with verifying next case condition. If that condition is verified, then it will follow the respective statement. If not, it will be sent to the defaulter, where the default statement, that's a printing statement, will be there, or anything can be expected. And finally, the program will move with the next part of execution, that will comes out of the switch case, and the next part of program will be considered. So that's it, and finally exit. So this is all about a switch statement. Control structures or loops. So loops are used for repetitive actions. If there is something or some messages there that has to be explained in different sequence, then we can't go with the conditional statement or the control statements, because the program will become complete lengthy, isn't it? So in order to minimize our program length, we will be going with the looping statements. And we have various looping statements. The first one is a for loop. The syntax for loop will be something like this: for of, we will be having a data type which is defined with various values. Okay, that is a condition that we have written, like where should I starts from and till what value it has to display. So that is a condition. So over here we can see a simple algorithm for that. Initialization, then a condition is set. If my condition is true, then the code will execute. If my condition is false, then again it has to start with initialization process. Great. Next one is while loop. While loop is used whenever there is no limit or the number of repetitions are unknown. At those cases, we will be going with the while loop. So let's start understanding it. We will be having with a condition. The condition will be verified first. If it is true, it will be moving forward with the next part of code. If it is false, then it is directly sent. Okay. Next, we do have do while loop. So this is a syntax for do while loop. That is, first we will write the do and followed by the code, that is a statement, program statement, followed by while and a single condition. All right, we can observe here we have a code followed by a condition. If my condition goes true, then it will go and check with next condition. If it is false, then it will go back and check with the condition or verify with the condition once again. So it is a do while loop is all about. All right, let's move forward. So now let's understand what are jumping statements all about is. These are statements which will transfer the control to other part of the program. For example, for now, let's consider we are going with a if loop. Okay, if loop, we are executing it, and whenever we receive this jumping statement at the case, we have to stop the execution and the execution has to jump to the next part of the program. So that is called as jumping statement. All right, now let's see what are the types of jumping statements that we have. The first one is break. It is used in an execution of a loop or switch statement. So under this looping as well as switch cases, we need some barrier, correct? Or we need something to stop. Thus, for these cases, we can directly go with a break statement where we can just take a small break and again the loop can continue, right? Next one is a continue. By this continue, what happens is it will be skipping to the next iteration. It is also used in a loop or in any statement, but by using this, what happens? The program execution will switch to the next iteration. The next type is a return statement which completely exit the method. So we have a small diagram for this, that is jump statements in Java, where we have break statement, continue statement, as well as return statement. So this is all about a simple jumping statement, and we have completed the basics fundamentals of Java programming. I believe it is very helpful for you to understand the things in a better way, isn't it? All right, this is all about our unit 1, and see you up in next session, that's for unit 2. Thank you.